Welcome to the Mumu Memoirs. There's a lot of discussion these days about old Nashville, obviously, versus new Nashville. And I'm kind of an anomaly. I'm a little bit of both. You see, when I was growing up here, Nashville was more of a big small town than a legit it city. And I really wanted to be in a larger environment, so I moved to Chicago. I lived in Seattle for a while, and I finally got dropped into the middle of songwriter heaven in Texas, a little place called Hill Country. Coming home is weird. You really realize what makes a place special when you've seen it done differently all over the world. Some of those things didn't survive the growth, and I do have a little bit of mourning for those, but I have an enviable scrapbook of old Nashville, and it's vast. Then there's new Nashville. Change is not a four-letter word. I've made new friends in old neighborhoods. There are traditions and favorite places still in the making. There are still those starry-eyed dreamers slinging food and drinks and crafting a perfect song. We are a welcoming town. But don't come here to capitalize on our colorful heritage unless you plan to also respect and preserve it. Our place in history has been mapped out by fearless and powerful women, from the sit-ins of the civil rights movements of the 60s to our recent protests downtown organized by 6 high school students. This year marks the centennial anniversary of the ratification of the 19th Amendment, which ended women's suffrage and gave us the right to vote. You're registered, right? More than ever, it is critical for us to use our voice to let our leaders hear us and know what is important to us as they govern in the coming years. I love Nashville, and the hard work doesn't get done by walking away, which is why I came home. The stories you are about to hear are based in reality, and they are characterized by a diverse cast of women. These ladies are involved in just about every art discipline in Nashville that you can imagine. And without them, this unusual project would have never come together. We would like to give special thanks to Metro Arts Thrive Funding in April for believing in this very unusual socially distanced theater experiment. We hope you enjoy our show. Stay safe. We love you, Nashville.
Put you on your knees, teach you how to pray. Take out all your good intentions and we'll pave the way. Help you find your soul, baby, make it mine. You get all the guts and glory till the end of the line. Girl, you need polish, better spit and shine. Girl, you need polish, better spit and shine. Girl, you need polish, better spit and shine. Whoa, whoa. Girl, you need polish, better spit and shine. Girl, you need polish, better spit and shine. Girl, you need polish, better spit and shine. Whoa, whoa. Baby, sing your heart what they wanna hear. You ain't gotta make it honest to be free and clear. Hope you like it hard, there'll be hell to pay. Go and give them what you got before they get away. Girl, you need polish, better spit and shine. Girl, you need polish, better spit and shine. Girl, you need polish, better spit and shine. Whoa, whoa. Girl, you need polish, better spit and shine. Girl, you need polish, better spit and shine. Girl, you need polish, better spit and shine. Whoa, whoa. Girl, you need need polish, better spit and shine. Girl, you need polish, better spit and shine. Girl, you need polish, better spit and shine. Whoa, whoa. Girl, you need polish, better spit and shine. Girl, you need polish, better spit and shine. Girl, you need polish, better spit and shine. Whoa, whoa.
Now, for those of you not in the know, this is a muumuu. Now, you may some people call them house dresses or caftans, and you may have seen some of the plain cotton variety, you know, the kind that women wear with them terry cloth slippers, or some African styles, or even some Hawaiian styles. You just didn't know what to call them. Now, we have had a fine spring so far in Tennessee, but our weather can get downright unpredictable. Well, just in the last 2 decades, this community has survived 2 tornadoes and a flood. I've been lucky though, because my house has survived without injury. But my friend on the bend, 10 years ago, she's floating down the river, holding on to her prize peony in one hand and her grandmother's quilt in another. Gives new meaning to the phrase, God willing and the creek don't rise. Now, if you've ever spent an August in Tennessee, you know that the heat and humidity is fine for the flora, but it is not favored by women of a certain age. Why, it's downright swampy. And if you want to enjoy your porch, you have to have the proper attire. Muumuus are a must. They don't pinch, they don't cling, and if you happen to catch a breeze just right, well, that's the closest thing to heaven that you can have in a minute. And if the tea isn't doing it, well, you can just switch your mint into a julep glass. All your troubles will be over for a few hours at least. I own a whole wardrobe full of muumuus. Why, I've been sewing them for years. I bet I could wear a different one every day and not repeat myself. My collection is full of character and memories of, well, not much really, just mainly sitting out here in this very chair. Do you believe fabric has memory? I do. What? How could so much light and energy flow through it into our bodies and souls without leaving something behind? I like to reuse fabric, as much as I can anyway. I get that from my mother. Of course, she had to do it out of necessity. Why, you could take a shirt or an old house dress, cut it up and make a real practical quilt. Of course, my mother, she and her family had much leaner times than I did, and I am thankful for that. But if I can keep that tradition going, I think that's important. You know, you can always stitch and patch things together. And those threads, they'll be strong because you need them to be. You know, they just hold everything together. And we don't even take the time to notice, much less thank them. Hey, have you heard of this Helen business? I was talking to my son on the phone and he said it was an internet thing. Well, last Thursday, I had a little too much of the julep, so to say. So at 8 o'clock, I go out to my backyard and I started howling. I let out a powerful sound and I started dancing around as much as my knees would allow me. Oh, not very graceful, mind you. And I was flailing around like a wild woman. Well, 5 minutes later, EMT and a fire truck pull up, lights are flashing. They said Marjorie up the hill had seen me and thought I was having an episode. Oh, I was so embarrassed, not to mention tipsy. So, I sent those fellas along with a good laugh and an apology. Poor Marjorie. Her nerves are shot enough without any help from me. They say what we're doing right now is called social distancing, but I don't see any difference from any other day, really. All the neighbors, well, they've either moved on, kids have grown up and moved away. I don't have many callers, except for the kids when they come do their check-ins. I don't mind it really. I tend to my flowers, fix myself a tuna fish sandwich if I feel like eating, sit out here on the porch with a good book and something sweet to sip on. Oh, did you feel that? Oh, that's one of those breezes I was telling you about. Oh.
Hello, it's me. And I'm wearing makeup. How freaking crazy is that? Why, Chloe? Why haven't you been wearing makeup? Because I have been stuck inside for so fragging long that I've just said, you know what? Screw it. I don't need to look good for anybody. I'm just gonna look good for myself. But today is a different story, because guess what we gonna do today? We are gonna go drive Uber Eats or Postmates or both. And, your girl just wanted to get a little fancy for, all the food that she's gonna be talking to in her car. So, here we are. And you know what? I'm not a huge fan of these. I get the point of these, but we're required to wear these on our face. And your girl has a little bit of claustrophobia, so, I don't know how this is really gonna go down. Let's try it. Let's see. Oh my God, I can't breathe. I can't really see that well either. Hello? What's happening? Doesn't really tell you how hard it is to wear glasses while you're doing this. Kind of fogs them up, but oh my God, I'm gonna have a panic attack. All right, I need to go do this now before I just stop breathing altogether, and then people think I'm dying from the coronavirus. So see you later. Be back in a bit.
I'm blocks away from most of the major hospitals in Nashville. I come here before and after work sometimes to think, to pray, to sing, and to cry on the worst days. Lately, I find myself here often since there's nowhere else to go. Social distancing is not a luxury I get to indulge in my profession. I'm doing my residency at an ER just up the street. Did you know that the Hippocratic Oath we take was originally in Greek, just like the Parthenon? It seems fitting somehow to sit on these steps when ethics relating to COVID-19 are the most important discussion we're having in the world. This is the only full-size replica that stands. It's here. There have been times in my life where I took great leaps of faith, so much enthusiasm for the future. But lately I struggle with this new reality and routine. And don't get me wrong, I am proud to use my talents to serve those in need, but I am also completely uncertain. I have studied and trained to be able to diagnose people and give them answers. So what do I do when I don't have them? I haven't seen my family in over a month. My wife, my daughter, even our dog are staying with relatives. Her mom is very high risk with MS and needed help that her dad just couldn't handle alone. And they have more property, a bigger house for the kid and the dog. It's for the best. It's a necessary step for their safety. And we FaceTimed. I miss their hugs and kisses. I miss their energy. I miss being able to tell my kid that Mommy will see her soon. There's nothing for me at home but this void where happiness thrived only 2 months ago. We were proud to be legally married. And there were so many discussions about where to go to plant our real roots. We've enjoyed the South, but for all its charm, there is a conservative thread that binds us all so tight that it's hard to even breathe sometimes. Can you intubate a choking society? I see a lot of moral posturing that sidelines the real progress, and it is maddening. I mean, I've never felt threatened, but it's understood that if you're a woman, you will work twice as hard to earn half the respect of your male colleagues in this field. And if you're an openly queer woman from the Northeast, let's just say I'm very adept at handling uncomfortable situations with ease. It's what makes me great in the ER, really. Smiles are important. They convey so much when words aren't accessible. I mean, PPE is a way of life in a hospital setting. But once the operation is over, you get to remove the mask, smile at your patient, and assure them of what recovery will look like for their case. Are eyes expressive enough? I mean, I see their fear, I see their pain, and I see their hope and their relief, but do they see mine? I really hope so. Some people call us heroes. Greek heroes were epic, but also flawed. And we are not perfect, but we are working tirelessly. Medical care isn't just doctors, though. And I have never appreciated a janitorial or nursing staff as much as I do today. The front lines are also people in triage or EMTs going into patients' houses to get them safely to the ER. Or they're the staffed fast food restaurants that are still open after a 12-hour shift that has completely depleted us of our wits and our will. Anyway, that's why I come here. It is critical to release those worries. And to remind myself that we are upholding important promises. These people need us, and we need to serve them. Please do your part to social distance, and to stay at home, if possible. Protect yourselves. Let me meet you in a happier time when we can smile at each other. It will come if we are persistent and patient. And know that even if I meet you under the worst of circumstances, I will do everything I can to save you. I swear.
Best watch where you play. If you got nothing nice to say, you better move on. You can't walk on bridges burned. I thought you would have learned the meaning of gone. Do it all the hard way. I never was a sit and stay kind of girl. My mistakes are obvious. I gave up the two of us so I could own the world. I said I'd love you. I said I'd leave you. I said I don't need you and I can't take it back. I said I'd save you. I said I'd show you. I said I don't know you and I can't take it back. Your face is younger now to me. You covered up your history with an expensive view. Appearances don't make it right if you can't show your roots sometimes. Who the hell are you? Always had a lot of nerve. Did I get what I deserve? I will never stop trying. My pride standing in the way. wonder could I ever say, baby, I'm sorry. I said I'd love you, I said I'd leave you, said I don't need you and I can't take it back. I said I'd save you, I said I'd show you, I said I don't know you and I can't take it back. I said I'd love you, I said I'd leave you, said I don't need you and I can't take it back. I said I'd save you, I said I'd show you, I said I don't know you and I can't take it back.
First, rehearse your song by rote, to each word a warbling note. Hand in hand with fairy grace we will sing and bless this place. Spring brought the best and the worst of humanity. Man created society and the laws that govern. If ever there was an example of the farce that is our illusion to power, I give you 2020, y'all. I have taken this opportunity to kneel down before Mother Nature, who has proven time and time again, without a doubt, she is still very much in control here. The elements love to show themselves. Wind and water are always in attendance this time of year. This neighborhood is no stranger to floods and tornadoes. When we are leveled, we rebuild. 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 2 months ago. That's what we do. We take care of this place and each other. There's still a lot of uncertainty, and the energy that swirls around us is as strong-willed and unpredictable as the weather. But surely you have noticed how glorious and abundant the flora in Middle Tennessee is. The roses and the irises and the peonies parade their colorful blooms with such splendor. There are so many reasons to sit and be still and soak in this wild, mad season carefully. There is still turbulence, and it permeates on a cellular level. The more I try to ground myself, the more I'm challenged. Have you ever tried to swim against a current? The more you struggle, the quicker you will sink. I am trying to let go of schedules, self-imposed obligations, and best-laid plans for my own sanity and for my soul. This is my mandala. It teaches me to be present as I gather bits of nature that speak to my senses. I think a lot about the loneliness that comes with social distancing and the lack of human connection at a time when we need those who comfort us most. Circles are not boundaries, they are the creation of sacred space. So when I worry about this loneliness and this lack of human connection, I realize we are not actually alone. We are merely pausing in our circles as we orbit each other. We do so with love and with intention and a universal understanding of safety. We are ensuring the basic right to live. We're not sacrificing our freedom or personal autonomy. So get your salt, gather ye rosebuds and listen to Mother Nature and all her creatures. True awareness comes with embracing and releasing fear. It takes time and practice. It don't just happen, y'all. So continue to take care of one another and yourselves. And just remember, there'll be warmer and brighter days ahead.
COVID-19 is not going to break my spirit. It's 2020 and we have literally technology for everything. We have apps that can flush our toilets. So moving our workforce home should be a breeze. And on top of that, eliminating our daily commutes gives us tons of time for more workflows, calendar reminders, daily encouragement to our team members. I set up a Trello board to manage benefit questions, and I scheduled some Zoom meetings to remind everyone how to check their PTO balance and manage healthcare claims. And earlier today, I even started a blog on the company intranet that's just full of motivational messages and reminders about how to make your day productive. But even on top of that, we've got Google Sheets and Google Drives that just give us all the information that we need at our fingertips. So we should be totally fine. I think overall, COVID has been kind of a blessing in disguise. It's a good change that we've definitely been prepared for. And even though it's a little weird that when I log into a work meeting, people can see where I sleep right behind me, I think we're gonna emerge from this confident with some better processes and maybe higher productivity and for sure a can-do attitude.
That little precious one over there, children. Look at her. Look. God is Lord, Helen. Yes. Oh, you know that y'all have always teased me about writing so much, about taking notes, making lists. And I got many of these journals. Here's one right here. I keep a couple of them with me all the time, but you know I have trunk full. And there's a reason. I want to share with y'all, with my babies, my grandbabies, my nephews, nieces, grandnephews, and nieces, my experiences. And I've had quite a few, but y'all know that. Sitting out here on the porch is a good place to share something. You know, on this porch. Porches are the cornerstone of what keeps this place together. North, east, south, west, each are unique and rich in their own histories. When you speak about Nashville, how can you not speak about community? Community. We are the sum of many. You know, it's an ensemble when you think about it. There are leading roles, of which I've had many, and standout performances, but it's nothing without a supporting cast there with you. An ensemble. It's community. This has been a year of unexpected challenges. And when the tornado struck us on March 3rd, neighbors stepped up en masse to help clean up, disperse necessities, take care of local families and businesses. Community is who we are. It's what we do. Our streets were overflowing and then empty as the Safer at Home order took stage. Oh, it's so quiet now. You know, porches are designed for conversations, for greetings and farewells. When you take the time to sit on them, you come to know the world around you much more intimately. You make small talk with your elder across the street as she tends to her flower garden and sweeps the sidewalk out in front of her house. You smile at the young couple as they teach their children to ride their bicycles on the sidewalk. You know the mail carrier on a first-name basis. You know, my sister and I used to sit for hours with our mother, our aunts and cousins, talking about everything over the years on that porch. Gossip may not be godly, but Lord, ooh, we sure did cut up. Well, it's where we got the local news. The happy excitement of marriages, babies to be born. And children, they were also solemn places for hand-holding, for hugs. And prayers for sons lost in wars. They weren't all overseas. Many of those wars fought in our own neighborhoods. When we were young, we knew how bad something was when we were told to go inside the house. Now, if Mama told us to go get Daddy, if she told us to go get our Daddy, then we knew something was really wrong. But no matter how you go about your business, it seems that some tragedy is unavoidable. It sneaks up. It sneaks up, even on a clear day. But still, kindness is necessary. Some will tell you that weakness is what makes us human, but they forget. They've forgotten the power of compassion. Believe me, there will be shelter. There will be nourishment. And there will be healing in the end. Community. Teaches us this. We may not be stepping off our porches right now, but when the time comes, we will carry on. Of course, it will be different, but those dogwoods are still going to bloom next year, and the year after, and the year after that. So be well, my dears, and admire the beauty of renewal. That beauty. It's all around.
I've traced out their names, strolled past their graves. The ones come before me, the young and the brave, not all can be saved. We sing in their memory, hymns for sacrifice in vain. Hymns for the good old days. Rattle through what remains. Stone washed to ash, the truth comes to pass. I know all the stories, the old and the bad. The mother's gone mad, alone in their mourning. Hymns for the good old days. Never forget their pain. Hymns for the good old days. Rattle through what remains. Can't wake from this terrible dream. We never learn, it seems. Hymns for the good old days. Never forget their pain. Hymns for the good old days. Rattle through what remains. Hymns for the good old days. Never forget their pain. Hymns for the good old days. Never forget.
You think you know how things are going to go. Then God takes all them plans and lights them on fire. At least I'm not one of those that worries too much about the future. I don't think too much about things I don't have control over. And with this virus, nobody knows what's coming. I mean, I guess I'm one of those people, I just never expected anything good to happen too much to me anyway. Best thing that ever happened to me was going to jail for driving drunk and not killing anybody. I've been sober 11 years. Everybody says you have to hit your bottom. And boy, did I try for many, many years. But this last time, just something was different. I just got real tired of drinking and messing up and feeling bad and drinking again. I lost everything that ever meant shit to me, and I just needed to do something different. One thing I did need was a job. Now, I didn't go to college or nothing, so waitressing's always been fine by me. And I went to go look for a job at the Waffle House. But the only job they had was the night shift. And I tell you, I've been one of them drunks at 3 in the morning at the Waffle House. That is not a fun job, and I didn't want to take it. But I needed it. I hated that job for about 3 months. I learned to watch for the signs of the pukers, hoping they would make it out to the parking lot instead of to the bathroom, which was mine to clean. I hated that Waffle House song. I hated people having a good time. I hated people having a bad time. I wanted to drink every day, every night, but I didn't. I was white-knuckling it. Finally, though, I got to a meeting and I couldn't hold it in anymore, and I let it all out about how much I hated my job. And a woman named Teresa came up to me after, and she said, "Did you ever think that you should be working in that Waffle House?" And I said, "I don't understand. Why would I want to do something that I hated?" And she said, "Every time you take care of somebody, you're taking care of your worst self." And it clicked in me. And I asked Teresa to be my sponsor, and she said, "Yeah." I went to work the night after the tornado. I had been busy. I hadn't heard from my son in 13 years. But him and his wife, they lost a car. He lost his job and half his roof. And they needed me. So I took all the money I had done saved up and I put them up in a hotel for a week. I got as much food as I could get for them. And even though I couldn't have given him any more, it still wasn't enough. All those years he was embarrassed of me. I got about a week of work in at the Waffle House before the virus came in and shut everything down. At first, I didn't know what to do with myself. I'd find myself worrying about the drunks, worrying about those cooped up with them at home. I know how that can be. Just don't know what to do with myself. I filed for unemployment, but I ain't heard nothing either from them. I am worried about that too. I'm not gonna lie to you. I want whiskey like I want a paycheck. I don't have a computer at home, so I can't do none of them Zoom meetings, although I don't think they'd be much help to me anyway. I just try and sleep a lot. I call Teresa when it gets real bad, but I'll be honest with you, she ain't doing so great either. Nobody is. One day at a time, though. Every day I don't buy Jack Daniels is some kind of miracle. I'm settling in a little bit. Come out here in the afternoon, I sit and I just think. In AA, they call it taking a moral inventory. I don't care what they call it, as long as I don't drink. That's the only prayer I got.
I'm fine. Everything's fine. Absolutely nothing with my life. Sitting here playing Scrabble Go, Words with Friends. Sitting here spelling Viter, Venter, Verheerte. Seeing if any of these things are words because I have no inspiration for life itself. No inspiration to even create a word that means anything. I don't know what has meaning anymore. My life feels like it has no meaning because I'm sitting in the same place doing the same freaking Scrabble game that has no freaking Scrabble moves for the 5,000th time of the day. And I'm losing my mind! I thought I was essential. Apparently, I am the virus. I'm a part of the virus. So how essential really am I? The answer is not at all essential. I'm not moving. I'm going back to bed. I'm done. Good night.
Sweetest song I ever sung. My baby mine.
So I've been working from home for about 8 weeks now, and I think my biggest takeaway is that my coworkers are children. Barb can't remember her ADP password, like, ever, and Gary thinks it's cool to cancel his internet contract at home because he's just gonna hop right on the company VPN. And then there's Susan, who can't remember to turn off her camera when she takes a pee break on a Zoom call. But on top of that, I guess my kid has more meetings than a CEO. From around 10 a.m. straight through dinner, there's math, language arts, homeroom just for fun check-ins, and then voice lessons and FaceTime with friends and the nightly grandparents call, which I love, but I feel like I've become the momager of a child star. Speaking of momagers and drinking, if we have one more virtual happy hour, I swear I'm gonna go Office Space on my laptop. So to all of my bosses, listen, I don't want to hear anything else about circling back to third quarter projections or back to work profit plans. I am just heartbroken when we have to decide who's worth their salt on the payroll, or when we have to make an uneducated decision about which employee carries more risk when they return to the office next week, which we all know is way too soon. I like my projections. Number one, toilet paper is gonna be real expensive for the foreseeable future. Number two, women are probably never gonna wear real bras ever again. And number three, human lives are way more important than the bottom line.
Literally, I've lost my mind because I'm talking to a pigeon sitting in front of my car. He's a pensive pigeon thinking about Corona, thinking about the things in the world. He's a cool pigeon, his name is Gary, and he is my friend. Gary the pigeon, a pensive pigeon. What up, pigeon?
I always heard there's nothing sweeter than the iced tea in the South. It's syrupy and strong like the women I've met in Nashville. If you weren't born here, it's an acquired taste. I've gotten used to it. I jokingly refer to it as crack tea. And to my surprise, I even enjoy it if I'm being honest. My cousin, who's been on a diet since like 5 minutes after she was born, used a Splenda in hers to avoid the sugar. It's not the same. I mean, it serves her purpose and all, but it's just not nearly as satisfying. It's like the tea version of methadone, I imagine. Isn't it beautiful out here? This is the heart of Nashville. I bet you could smell the barbecue and biscuits if you breathe in deeply enough. Now, I'm not a fan of gravy, let's be clear about that. My grandfather used to say, never eat diner gravy, it hides a world of sin. I don't know what he meant by that, and I try not to delve too deeply there because it's a fairly disgusting thought. And grits. Like, grits are something else I don't understand. What is the obsession with goopy, paste-like food substances here? The pedestrian bridge is one of the best views in town. You can see so far down the Cumberland, almost to where Opryland once stood. I like to come out here for sunrise. It's so solitary. The crowds on Broadway finally cleared out, and the rest of the world doesn't even exist yet. If you stand up there with your arms outstretched, you can almost imagine flying. I did some research for a while, just to see if anyone had jumped and survived the fall. I mean, it seems a little ridiculous to make such a permanent decision only to fail at that, right? My therapist used to say, failure's not a feeling. I think she tried to make it here in the music business too, back in the 70s. She toured as like a backup singer or something. She has pictures up on the walls in her office. For someone who gets paid to listen, I don't think she really understands. I have scars. Every line's a disappointment. And the time I froze singing the national anthem in front of 600 people, the callback I never got, the blisters from rehearsing relentlessly on a song nobody seems to hear. And I wonder, are these my glory days? God, I hope not. It seems like everyone here is related to someone already. I had a roommate who gets co-writing residuals from a song she contributed like 2 words to when she was 10. Her uncle was famous and it was a radio hit or something. I mean, can you imagine going in the studio with your mom and getting a check the rest of your life? I mean, it wasn't even intentional. I came here for college. My school had one of the best music programs in the country. It was this big opportunity. I've played so many open mics, I've lost count. Sat in on a couple of cover bands, so that never really goes anywhere. Oh, and I performed as a princess for kids' birthday parties. I know Disney songs for days. You know, I love music, but I'm not so sure it loves me back sometimes. Will I die unknown? I mean, I guess I seem a little overdramatic. It's just that I want to believe that there's something awesome out there for me, you know? I've leaned over those rails so many times. Have you ever watched tears fall until you just can't see them anymore? They just disappear into the river. That's how I want to go. Fade away like the night sky when the sun shows up on the horizon. No screaming or sobbing, nothing left behind. Just peace. Downtown's been pretty quiet lately. No tourists, no open bars on Broadway, competing in the cacophony that is the heart of a bustling music city. I'm not a star. I'm not even stardust. Is rhinestone dust a thing? You know, sometimes I just want to throw my guitar off the edge just to see if it has wings, or to watch it free fall and drown below. Offered up as a sacrifice. I mean, does it have a soul? Do I? Anyway, there's nowhere else to go, so I keep coming here and I keep singing. What else can I do? You know, maybe if I stay here long enough, I'll even learn to like grits. Some glad morning when this life is o'er,
seen. Thought you pulled me through the worst of everything. I don't even wonder if it's you I'm putting under. I never did consider if you needed me at all. It's been so long since I knew how to bring out all the noise in you. Remember how I used to cry with my hands digging into you for delight. I don't even wonder if it's you I'm putting under. I never did consider if you needed me at all. It's time we talked. It's time we touched. I miss you so much. Won't you walk away with me? Won't you walk with me? Walk with me. Won't you walk with me? With me. I don't even wonder if it's you I'm putting under. I never did consider if you needed me at all. It's time we talked. It's time we touched. I miss you so much. Won't you walk away with me? Won't you walk with me? Won't you walk with me? Walk with me. Won't you walk with me?
Margaret Fuller once said, "If you have knowledge, let others light their candle in it." I always knew I wanted to be a teacher. English literature specifically. I love words. And I love how they can be used to construct something so powerful. You can travel anywhere in the world right from the comfort of your favorite chair. It's about as far as I'm going these days. You know, this should be the last hurrah for the semester of the school year. It's like we went out for spring break and just never came back. It's been surreal. And the expectation that we should just teach remotely, it's a farce, and a cruel one at that. I work in a district where the basic needs are not met on a daily basis for most of my students. These children are both loved and left
in their own environment. Most of them have yet to even receive the laptops that are supposed to get them through the remainder of their lessons for the year. These are middle school kids. I know graduate level adults who suck at distance learning, so explain to me how the burden now falls on a 12-year-old and their families who are already so overwhelmed. The privilege here is that we assume that everyone has the internet, that everyone has technology, because a lot of businesses are still functioning in spite of quarantine. I think about the kids who take home snacks provided by me, sometimes out of my own pocket, because they know dinner won't be there for them later. I think about the kids who don't have access to a washer or dryer at home for clean clothes at a time when things should be disinfected to institutional standards. I think about the kids that are 2 calls away from being removed from situations that we will never have to endure, while they try to stay awake in my class. They're the ones raised by older siblings or other relatives who may not have resources for a notebook for a school project. They're the ones who are largely responsible for their younger siblings too, who don't have time to be young themselves. These are the kids that I teach. It's not always easy, but seeing their smiles widen when they discover they actually enjoy reading, watching them deliver a report on a subject with excitement, knowing that they are so resilient and eager to learn, that's my reward for the long hours of lesson planning and leaning in for these kids who need to know that they are full of possibilities. Sometimes I moan when we go over the classics they feel have zero relevance in their lives. I get it, I do. Some of them will always read just enough to get by and forever view it as a chore. I try to give them an escape through a well-written story. I give them the opportunity to journal in their own voice and be heard. The purgatory between kid and adult is the worst. But to be there and be burdened by an adult world you have zero control over is far more soul-crushing. I hope they continue to record these feelings and memories that get clouded with age. It is a gift. Where would we be without the diary of Anne Frank? And that's my only lesson for the remainder of the school year. There is no corner so dark that hope can't find a way to grow. So I try to be a light. Right now my only wishes are that my students are fed, that they are safe, and that they can bounce back when it's time to return to the classroom. But make no mistake, they are learning right now, even without technology. They are watching and hearing the way we treat others. They are looking to us for leadership and example. You can't measure those experiences with test scores, but they may be the most impactful lessons we give them in their entire life. We are all teachers, and we are all students in this strange time. History, science, philosophy, and ethics, statistics, they are all vital in the COVID-19 crisis. We are all full of possibilities, and we have the opportunity to make sound choices. Be better for them. Be better for yourselves. That's all we've got right now.
Roses grow wild here. I mean, you have to get out of the city to find them, but they're proud and resilient, much like Nashville itself. Beauty is a serious business in the South. We're all showing our roots right now, some more than others. Actually, a cousin of mine who's claimed to be a blonde forever has finally had to admit she's a brunette. We're all fans of Dolly here, and I'm no exception. If you don't realize I'm talking about the illustrious, illuminating patron saint of Nashville, Miss Parton, well, honey, you better get yourself to the mother church. She's unparalleled as a songwriter, a performer, a businesswoman, a philanthropist, In fact, her imagination library has sent millions of books worldwide to kids so that they can learn to love reading. You wouldn't know it by looking at me, but I'm actually a total book nerd. You know who else loved to read and study? Marilyn Monroe. Just goes to show you that you can't judge a book by its cover. But there's nothing wrong with a little sparkle to help get it off the shelf. Someday I may have a daughter, and I hope to teach her all the things that I hold dear. Like, it's okay to let your hips sway when the music hits you just right, and when to plant a garden, to treasure one of my great-grandmother's old recipes, and that the perfect curl, despite advances in beauty technology, still comes from the precision placement of a wet set. I know a lot of us have been anxious over the past few months. Like, we want to protect our families, but some of us have to provide for them too. I mean, the total shutdown of Nashville has brought so much confusion and hardship. None of us were prepared for it, and we're still finding our footing as the city opens back up. The neon lit honky tonks, the restaurants, the salons, those of us who work in those industries are used to like the hustle and bustle. So what do you do when things are still and quiet? I try to focus on the pleasures of life. I love music and words. I find faith in friends and family. I bake. I throw on a gold lame jumpsuit after a week in yoga pants. I take walks and I find the roses. They're prickly with thorns, but I still admire them. Beauty is more than a good hair day or a bold lip. It's being able to find the beauty in the things that grow wherever they're planted. And my biggest hero knows that better than anybody else. Hope is thriving still. You just have to look for it. Currently, Vanderbilt's trying to find a vaccine for COVID-19. Their research is actually funded by the Department of Defense, the National Institutes of Health, and Dolly Parton.
And everything around you spins the world on your shoulders now. Well, I've got nothing but love. I hope that's enough to keep out the pain. I've got nothing but words, a few random chords, and they're screaming your name. I've got nothing but love, nothing and nothing but love.